Assalamu alaikum everyone. I am Manahil, the Morjob Wali, and I am from Karachi, Pakistan. Today we have the very privilege of hosting a truly remarkable individual, none other than Mr. Bert Ola. So let's give him a warm welcome and embark on a journey to discover the inspiring life experiences and insights that have shaped his extraordinary path. So welcome, sir. How are you?
Very good. It's nice to be here. Happy Friday from this the heart of Sweden and north part of Europe for who don't know where I live.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for coming. So, first of all, please introduce yourself for my viewers.
Yes, shortly. So I call myself a system entrepreneur. I grew up here in a small village in the north part of Sweden. Just a few hundred people live here. And my passion in life is to connect, like I said, people, passion, and purpose. So that's what I do. A little bit like Rehan is doing in Pakistan. I do a bit the same here in my part of the world.
All right, thank you so much for your introduction. So, now let's move on to questions. My first question is can you briefly explain your role as a facilitator at
Yeah,
Global Competition and how it contributes to building learning societies? Thank you.
yeah. In general, a facilitator is a person who try to listen to different people and to connect, on the one hand, to understand what people want to do, and you are enabling the will of that people. That's a facilitator. You don't tell people what to do, you listen to them, and you try to, like, nudge, put them in the direction of, maybe I listen to you, Manahil. This is how I understand what you're thinking, and then you try to, maybe you should go in that direction, or you try to help them in a way. So that's the facilitator's key role, to guide the community or people in a direction, and to listen to the other people. That's number one.
All right, thank you so much, sir, for your answer. So, my next question is what inspired you to become a facilitator, and how did you get started in this field?
Yeah, I think I always, it's always difficult to know how you get inspired or the motivation. Probably you get it from your grandparents or parents when you grow up, because you are formed in early days in life, I think. But I was lucky to have grandparents who were very supportive and had wanted to do something in life. You have some energy. You get uh, people who have motivation and want to do something, that translates to you as well. So it's like a positive virus, you can say, to get something there. So I think it started there at the early days, and my passion in life has always been to finding out what's going on around the world, what the culture, and if you can make people happy, then happiness is universal, and more happiness is more energy, and so it's like never ending. So to find these passionate people who really want to do something, not they are forced, but they really want to do something.
All right, thank you so much for your answer. So, can you explain the primary responsibilities of a facilitator and how they differ from other roles in a team organization?
Yeah, I think everyone should have a bit of facilitator role, especially these days when the new tools, like you do in Rehan school, and like you do now, everyone can be a facilitator because it's a modern knowledge work. To sit in your part of Pakistan now, you meet the world online and you can get to know people and ideas and different cultures and like that. So you broaden your perspective on the world. So I think everyone should be a knowledge worker or a people worker in a sense today. But of course, you also need the accounting, the economist to do the bookkeeping. You need a bit maybe marketing, some of this traditional role in organization. But everyone needs to have a bit of facilitator mindset to be. And another word for facilitator would be sort of a modern knowledge worker in a digital era we are in with AI and remote work and everything.
Yes, you are right. Thank you so much for your answer. So, my next question is, what qualities or skills do you believe are essential for a successful facilitator to a
Yeah.
process?
Yes, number one, you need to be a good good listener. And when I say listener, I don't mean just that you hear what another person. So I mean a more deep listening skill. So because it's one thing what people say, but maybe that's not the truth. You want to get behind that. What's the real need or the real passion here? Not what you say as a person, but what's your true calling in the other person. So to have the empathy and the feeling of another person and to go beyond the words, that's a good listener. Because if you so you need that quality to be a good facilitator to really get the true understanding, because then the second part of becoming a good facilitator comes is to start to link and to help and support that person. So if you support them in the wrong way, you don't fulfill your role as a facilitator. So you need to be a good listener and a good linker, because the best way to support another person is to help them with different kinds of resources, knowledge, moral support, motivational support, maybe financial support. So people have different needs and different passion. So these roles would be key skills as a facilitator: listener, a linker, a motivator, sort of that.
All right, thank you so much, sir, for explaining. So, can you share some example of particularly challenging facilitation situation you've encountered and how you handle it?
Uh, yeah, in general, when you meet people who are stuck in a box, if we say, it's like they're very linear in thinking. This is how we do things here. You know, if you meet that people who have a very rigid mindset, that's those people or those situations are very difficult to cope with, because they can't like open up. It's like this is the right answer. They have already decided to do that. So I think in situations like that, if you feel there's a friction or something, it's more to accept it. Don't get irritated. Feel more that this is how it is. uh, have a nice conversation, try to learn something. You realize that maybe this will not be maybe you will not work together or something, but you can always learn something from because you will meet all types of people in your future. People who don't like you, people who like you, different types of people in different organizations. So you can always learn something and improve yourself, even if you feel immediately that this is a challenging situation, this person don't like me. You can feel it instantly or early that maybe this will not lead to something. So just a bit of relax, follow, do the best of the situation, don't get irritated, just float with the situation. That would be how I handle it. And you will learn by time of doing this. Don't be irritated. Don't get into it. It's more to, because you will lose. You will lose yourself. It's better to do the best of it and further go on, because you will meet super many great people in your world. Don't let the negative energy from a specific encounter affects you. Take the learnings with you and move on.
Yes, you're right. So, how do you approach challenging of bringing diverse groups of people together and fostering collaboration in your facilitation work?
Yeah, that's one of the hardest thing, because what I've learned over the years is that different people with different mindsets, they have different way of looking at society and different way of how they are formed in their role in the organization. So, for example, if you work for a city or a government or something, it's very rigid structures. They can do in a certain way, but it's forbidden to do in another way. While an entrepreneur like Rehan, for example, he's super random, super entrepreneur, dynamic and everything. So it requires, that's the hardest thing to be a facilitator, to get different types of people together. But of course, the more you get to know each other, the more people start to understand the motivation. Focus, for example, in an early dialogue with diverse people to find out what's the general motivation they have in the room, to see that we have the same will, we have the same passion, but we have different skills and different logics that we are working in. So then you have an agenda together where you want to go. So you don't get stuck in small frictions. I can't do this because of, or I can't do. It's more, see that we have the same will, the same, we want to accomplish the same thing. Focus on that and see how can you contribute from your perspective or your role you're in. Don't get into this like I can't do this because.
Alright, that's great. Thank you so much for your answer. So, what strategic or techniques do you use to ensure the meetings or workshops you facilitate are engaging and productive?
In the beginning, if it's a short or a long workshop, you want to set the stage. Why are we in the room? Like an early. And then have a bit of open circle so you get to start to feel so it's not a one-way conversation. I will tell you what to do. Here's workshop. I'm here and I open the workshop or the room, and then I listen in to different voices in the room. So I get to feel a bit of the expectation and why are people here? What do they want to accomplish? So you have a direction. What would be a successful workshop? And then you have something to direct towards during the workshop. So you feel on the way that we are improving and going, and this will become a successful meeting. Like I said, the role of facilitator is to help people to build, to find themselves and others. So, and if you don't listen to them, it will be very difficult to go ahead. You can't be there saying what I think you are here because of, and then you don't let them speak. You need to listen in them, and then like, are we on the right way? Do we go in the right direction? Could we change? So constantly you listen in to the room and like weave or nudge the conversation further like that. So, and then in the end, you want to have like a feeling, what do we do after this? So people feel that it's not just floating out in some, okay, it was a great meeting, but I don't know where to go. You want to have a direction after the workshop. when do we meet again? What is your insight of today? Did you learn something? So you get a mindset of continuous learning in your mindset, both direction and thinking that you can improve. So that's super critical. So that would be some of the elements how you facilitate, but listening in early in the workshop so you feel like what's the energy in the room, are they in good mood, what do you say, quality in the air, do people want to be here or they're forced? So because are they tired, then maybe it's better to go out and listen to the birds or see the sun or something. If they have a lot of energy, you can do more. So you need to get the sense of the energy in the room.
Yes, right. Thank you so much for your answer. So, my next question is, can you describe a situation where you had to adopt your facilitation style on the fly to address unexpected challenges or changes in a session?
Yeah, like I said, this has happened many, many, many times. Because I do this all the time when I have workshop. I feel in the room, and often it's not what you plan. But if you follow this structure of giving a space for people to say something in the beginning, and so they have a voice, and you together like, okay, sense the room, like sense the room, then you can adapt a little bit and know this is how we will proceed in this coming 1 hour or 10 hours, or depending on how long workshop you are. So if you have a too, that's my learnings over the year. If you have a too rigid structure, like now we do these 10 minutes and then I do this 5 minutes and then we do this 10 minutes, and then it will be very stressful. So it's more to have the big picture there. We start here and we want to go there together. And it's up to you what we do. Should we listen to the birds or listen to a professor? So you quickly need to get the people on board that I am there to help you. And I've been in this situation many, many times over the years where it didn't work. So it's more like the overall design. So I will not go into a specific case. So it's more the general understanding.
All right. So, in your experiences, what are some common obstacles or misconceptions that people have about facilitation, and how do you address them?
Yeah, I think the general thing is that if you're a manager or like traditional business and like that, it's more serious. Here we work. But in a modern era with AI and the new tools, facilitation is the much more powerful tool because you enable people to think. So it's higher value if you get many people to be creative together and individually than you as an expert tell people what to do as an individual. So 1 + 1 is greater than 2. That would be the facilitator role. The expert role is more 1 + 1 is 2, or maybe less than 2, if you get what I mean. So it can be a problem if you go to a traditional organization where you have a lot of experts and people who pretend to know everything and like that. That can be a challenge in the modern era we are in now to be taken seriously. Like you sit in, I can almost guarantee, I don't know you, but probably you are better than many professors around the world today, and you sit in Karachi and you are in Rehan school in some skills. But that's impossible to think as a professor in innovation in a school in at the university in New York or something. So that can be a bit of the challenge to the old traditional way with the new modern way of doing knowledge work.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for your answer. So, can you share any tips or settings, clear objectives and goals for a facilitation session to ensure its success?
Uh, like I said in the beginning, you want to set the stage. It's just the phrasing. I said, set the stage. You want people should feel welcome in the room, and you have a clear start. And you, like I said before, you get people a chance to say why they are in the room, so people can feel they are being listened to. So early in a session or event or workshop or something, you would give room to people to be listened to. And then in the end and during the session, you want as general to have more space for interaction than to have someone presenting something or whatever. Mostly you do the mistakes, that's my opinion, that you put too much focus on content. Like, I know this and you do that and you know that, and you present and you present and you present and you teach. But it's more valuable to meet and to have a discussion. So some input and a lot of time to consider and reflect on that and to have a great time together. So, like maybe 1/3 of input and 2/3 of being together. Whatever you do in a workshop or in a 1 hour, or so if it's a 2 hour workshop, maybe 1.5 hour you spend time together, have fun, and build relations, and one half an hour you present something. So that's important for a good qualitative meeting. And in the end, like I said, in the beginning, you listen to people, getting the feeling of the room. Then after that, you give a lot of space to people to be together and get to know each other. And in the end, you want to know when do we meet next time, and what is your learnings and your takeaway from this. And based on that, you know what people want and people have learned and the feeling of the meeting, so you can improve for next time. So that would be some of the important aspects for building a great activity.
All right, wonderful answer. Thank you so much for your answer. So now let's move on to next questions. My next question is on your screen. My next question is final questions. How can individuals and organization benefit from the services of a skilled facilitator, and what should they look for when selecting one for their needs?
Well, I think we have been discussing a bit the qualities of being a good facilitator. In general, a skilled facilitator will lift people and groups, the ideas, put the ideas into practice. And what you do in Rehan School, which is brilliant, is that you are a modern knowledge worker, so you can make innovation happen much quicker. You can identify needs and passion and resources around the world. We live in a global era, and you can put that energy quicker together. So when you become a good facilitator, you see how you put needs and resources into action much quicker than in the old traditional way of being a knowledge worker. And if I would hire or work with a facilitator, I want early to know, do they know the tools? Can they listen? What is there really a good listener? And you feel that after time, and that they know the tools, the knowledge tools. Do you have channels? So do you know how to use social media, hashtags, AI? I mean, what are your tools? You have your ears and eyes as a tool, and your passion, that's sort of your inner tools. But you also need the knowledge of how to use the best tools, financing tools, crowdfunding, democracy tools, Google tools, all these tools, and it's continuous. It's always new tools emerging. So I would like to find out what's the experience of this facilitator. Do they have an open mindset? Do they listen to others? Do they give space to another person to enter the room? That's qualitative aspects of being a good facilitator that I would look for.
All right, wonderful answer. Thank you so much for answer, and thank you so much for sharing your invaluable insights, experiences, and wisdom with us today. Your journey as a facilitator and your dedication to building learning societies through meaningful connection is truly inspiring. We gained a deeper understanding for the importance of facilitation in fostering collaboration and innovation, as well as the qualities that makes a facilitator effective. Your story and advice have left us with plenty and ponder and apply in our own lives and endeavors. As we conclude this interview, we are reminded that positive change and innovation are driving by individuals like you who are passionate about making difference in the world. To our audience, I encourage you to take Mr. Bert Ola's word of wisdom to heart and consider how you can apply them to your own journeys and pursuits. So, thank you once again, Mr. Bert Ola, for being with us today. Your presence has been a true honor, and we look forward to following your continued impact and success in the world of facilitation and beyond. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was great to be here. I look forward to more conversations with you and the other great inspirational people in the Rehan School.
Thank you so much. Bye. Have a wonderful day ahead.